Hello again, trig honor students. I would like to make a correction and then finish up on this practice quiz, which is coming up very, very soon this week. Tomorrow for some, and Friday for block 8. So one mistake was on this one, number 3. I'd like to possibly take this to another page and do it again, all right? So number 3, right here, I should have a square root here, and we're looking for the angle whose tan is negative root 3. So let's see if I can do it right here on this one. We want the tan to be negative root 3, so what I've taught you before is we'd say the angle theta is equal to tan to the negative 1 negative root 3. In other words, tan of the angle is equal to negative root 3. Right? That's pretty much what this means. It means that we're looking for the angle whose tan is negative root 3, and that's what theta is. Theta is that angle. So we have to say, okay, the tan is going to be negative, and so what quadrant are we looking at? If we draw our quadrants over here, we know they're all positive here, sine is positive here, tan here, and cosine for Christ is here. So for tan to be negative, we're going to be looking at the second quadrant or the fourth quadrant. All right, so let's take the angle in the second quadrant. You will recall, this is number 3, that tan of any angle is equal to the sine over the cosine. So essentially what we want to do is we want to find the position, the angular position, where the sine over the cosine will work out to negative root 3. Where would that be? Negative root 3. Well, it might be a good idea to look for a place where the sine itself is root 3 over 2 or negative root 3 over 2. So here's where that would be, or one place that would be. I mentioned the second quadrant. So if we come to the second quadrant here, on the unit circle, we come all the way around to a position of 120 degrees, which is the same as 2 pi over 3. I think that will be it. That position will be one where the x-coordinate or the cosine will be negative 1/2. Some of you, I'm sure you know this better than I do. And the y-coordinate or the sine will be root 3 over 2. So that would be that position, negative 1/2, comma, root 3 over 2. So now when we do the tan, which would be the sine or the y-coordinate over the x-coordinate, we'll get the tan. I'm just going to write this down here. Tan of that angular position will be negative root 3 over 2. I'm sorry, not negative root 3 over 2, root 3 over 2, because the sign is positive here, over negative 1/2. Here's where we have the negative. And to divide by a fraction, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So it's going to be, this will be root 3 over 2 times the reciprocal of negative 1/2, which would be negative 2 over 1. And the 2's will cancel. 2 goes into negative 2, negative 1 time. So here's where we get our answer. Square root of 3 times negative 1 is square root of 3. So the angle we seek for this one would be 120 degrees, 2 pi over 3. That's one angle of position. I think we did this one wrong in class, and that was my fault. So that would be the proper answer. And we could also get one from the fourth quadrant over here. Okay, and that would be at the 300 degree position. 300 or 5 pi over 3. All right. So what's next? Here I got one here that I didn't finish. I started this one on the last video. I didn't finish it. So let's go ahead and finish this one. Is this the one? Let me take a look. I think that might have been the one. So let me go back there for that one. Yes, it's the tan of the angle whose sine is negative 3/5. So let's find a good spot for this. The tan of the angle. There we go. This is number 8. Looking for the tan of this angle whose sine is negative 3/5. So this is our angle here. And let's call it angle y now. Y equals sine to the negative 1 of negative 3/5. And possibly well, let's take another step before I say that. So this means the sine of the angle y is negative 3/5. And once we see the sign is negative, then we know what quadrant we're going to be in. Certainly won't be the first quadrant, won't be the second quadrant, but it could be the third or the fourth. All right, so let's go ahead and work in the third quadrant. And that's why it's good to make a sketch, as I've really emphasized this. In the third quadrant here, I make my sketch. And here comes my reference angle, always in reference to the positive or negative x-axis. That's a theta there. And carefully now, I know sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So I'm going to put my 3 here and my 5 there. I'm sure somebody is saying, don't forget the negative. Thank you very much. Yes, it's right there. And when we work this out, we're going to need this is the adjacent, because tan involves the adjacent, as I'm sure you will agree. And so we can find the adjacent here. Let's the adjacent be a by using Pythagorean. 5 squared is equal to negative 3 squared plus a squared. So 25 is equal to 9 plus a squared. Subtract 9 from both sides. We get a squared equals 16. So then a is going to be the square root of 16 plus or minus. So it's going to be a positive or negative 4. Since we're working on this side, we should carefully make that a negative 4. If somebody had chosen this quadrant over here, then they'd choose the positive 4. So now let's finish this. The tan of the angle in question, tan of this angle, is going to be equal to opposite over Adjacent, that's going to be a -3 over a -4. Now negative divided by a negative will give us a positive answer. And I trust you're positive about that. All right. Let's take a look at what else we have. This one is fairly easy. Maybe I'll do another one like this with you in class, but this one is easy. This involves solving a triangle number 10. And let's go ahead and maybe finish off with this. We're given a right triangle or a righteous triangle here, and we're given this leg as 15. We're given this angle is 26, and we're given the of course this is 90 degrees. So what are we missing? We're missing this angle A, we're missing this side length, and we're missing the hypotenuse. So to solve the triangle is to find all the missing features. Let's go ahead and find the measure of angle A first. Measure of angle A is going to be fairly simple, because it will be 90 minus 26, because this angle B plus A must add up to 90. So 90, take away 26, borrow 1 from the 9, that leaves us 8. So we have 10 take away 6 is 4, 8 take away 2 is 6. So measure of angle A would be 64 degrees. And then how about side length A? We can find that by relating this angle, say, to this side length, and also relating it to the opposite. So we can say tan of 26 is equal to 15 over A. And that way we can find A. So let's go ahead and do that. Tan 26 equals 15 over A. Once we know two of the three, we got 1, 2, 3 items here. Once we know 2, we can find the missing one. So by cross multiplication, I know we've done this kind of thing before, we get A times tan 26 equals 15. Divide both sides by tan 26, and we get A equals 15 over tan 26. And we just simply have to work that out. How about finding C? Once we find A and we already have 15, we can use Pythagorean and find C. Okay? So, or we could use a sine ratio, which is maybe a little bit easier. Some of you might like this, a sine ratio, and say sine 26 is equal to 15 over C. So let's go ahead and do that. Sine 26 is equal to 15 over C. And here, we can cross multiply like that again. We have C times sine 26 equals 15. And then what? Divide both sides by the sine 26. We get our answer. Let me see if I don't have a calculator close by, but you can always work this out, and you get your A by doing the division here, and then C by doing this. All right. So I trust that is helpful to you. Make sure you know how to do all these types, and this type up here is fairly simple. This one is asking for a sketch. A right angle sketch, and find the cotangent of this angle here. So for this one, really quickly, we could say theta is equal to tan to the negative 1 of x over root 3. And so tan theta equals x over root 3. And this is fairly easy. So the cotangent would be the inverse of the tangent. So the cotangent, cotangent is 1 over tangent, right? So it's going to be root 3 over x. Okay, so that would be it. All right, may God bless and keep you, and I trust you'll have a good night's sleep or a great day whenever you're listening to this. Bye-bye.